Welcome viewers, round 10 action here. We've got the iRacing iRacing.com official V8 Supercar Championship here at the wonderful, lengthy Virginia International Raceway. We call it VIR. 5.26 kilometres of some of the finest track that you will get on the iRacing tour. With me in the broadcast for this round 10 action is Jake Blackwell. Jake, welcome to the broadcast. Looking forward to this race. Fuel restricted, temperatures suited for fast racing. This is going to be a great race.
Yeah, thank you, Brenton. This is going to be a cracking race today. It's a cool track temp, 27 degrees. It's been a while since we've seen one of those, and the field 25 cars deep and qualifying on at the moment. This is going to be a great race. That fuel restriction really plays into the little bit of strategy that people will play out coming in early or staying out late, but it's definitely going to liven up the field today.
Yeah, like you said, 27 degree track temperature. It's as cool as it's been for weeks. I know the early race today, the 6:15 or 7:15 race, the track temperature was 50 degrees, 50 degrees. So plenty of changes there. Like you did say, we have got qualifying already underway and some times have already started to come in. And we've got a full field of 25 cars for this long race. After the Bathurst 12-hour race for the AEC, this is a safety car free zone tonight. We don't want to see any more safety cars for a short while. Then with this 25 car field, you're going to get some real close quality racing.
Yeah, that's what always the V8 Supercars has brought to us, and once again it's an Australian server, which is always good to see. So the past couple of weeks it's been good to see this as Ian Ford just jumps up into the front row provisional pole at a 47.4, 1/10 in front of Ethan Gringold.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be fantastic to have the Australian service. So it's that 3 weeks in a row. Look, special shout out, special mentions here. We've got some people running tonight on the broadcasted event for the first time. We've still got 2 minutes of qualifying to go, so I'm going to say Michael Ford. Don't think Mick now with Kimmy Rules Fencing. I think it's his first official Monday night race. Michael Talajanak, I think also his first time that he's been with us for the Monday night race. Dan Ackland, who's got himself up into 10th place so far in qualifying with a 49.765 for also Kim's Rural Fencing KRF team. Great to have him here. And Adam Zetinger, in the car 25 at the moment, 4th in grid. But most special of all, and I don't want to be sexist here, boys and girls, but we do have that. We've got our first female racer here in the main split tonight. Emily Jones in the car 17. Watch out for her. It's fantastic to have her on board.
Yeah, it's good to see her on board. It's good to see such a quality field, even like in the diversity that we're seeing now. And as I say, that Ethan Gringold goes and puts it number 1 on provisional pole again, 47.2. And one person who I am shocked not to actually see is Josh Rogers. I've just clicked him on now, and he is actually coming around the last corner. So hopefully this is a time lap. I don't know where he's going to put him, but as he comes across the start line now, hopefully we can see a good jump from him. And there it is. Provisional pole 47.1, a 10th quicker, well half a 10th quicker than Ethan Gringold. Josh Rogers on the front row.
Yeah, he is at the moment. I think Ian Ford's still got a little bit to go as well, from what I understand here. Just having a look now. No, he is done. So this is where the battle is, isn't it? I think it was only the 12 points for second place overall between Rogers and Ford. Benefit here is it's a bit of a tactical race as well tonight, in that they only start with about 74 litres. So there is going to be a pit stop necessary. It's 29 laps on this, what's going to be a fast track. So they're going to need a little bit more fuel. And what we're going to need to do is shortly, Jake, if you want, been racing with Blake all yesterday, just get on board with Matty Morris here. Such a tight little section here. It looks fast, but the car just off camber, and that's the end of qualifying for Matty. He's not going to get a finish there. But it's such a technical session there. I'll let you go through those grid positions. Thanks, Jake. And I'm looking forward to this race a lot.
Yeah, this is going to be a cracking one, as I said on the start. So Josh Rogers, pole position. He's lighting it up again, just in front of Ethan Gringold on the front row with him. Ian Ford and Corey Preston on row 2. Good to see Corey having some pace this week. James McKnight as well. I haven't seen him in a while for SDC in P5 with Mitchell Selak in 6th. Ryan O'Sullivan in 7th with Cooper Murray 8th. Adam Zettinger first time in the series P9 with David Baxter in 10th. Paul Gorell outside the top 10-11 with Richard Aylward in 12th. Greg Sharp in 13th, followed by Henry King in 14th. Row number 8 sees Daniel Ackland and Simon Tennant. Jeremy Morton from row 17, Sean Chappie from row 8 from P18. Bo Cattell didn't set a lap time in 19, Matt Morris in 20, Michael Talajanak in 21st, Emily Jones in 22nd, Michael Ford 23rd, David Nenedick in 24th, and Brendan King rounding out the field in 25th.
Yeah, I think we've had a disconnect already from David Nenedick, unfortunately, from that 24th grid position. Hopefully he might get back to the grid in time here, but yeah, it's going to be a wonderful race we've got here. And on the front row, Ethan Grigol and Josh Rogers, these guys are going to be real quick from the get-go. Keep an eye out for Ian Ford, though. He was, that race was there to win on Saturday in the V8 Americas race, but popped an engine. And amazing to see that Adam Zettinger there. This time last week, he didn't even know there was official racing. He'd only ever been doing hosted sessions with Wheelie Bins Racing, and to have him on the grid in such a great spot already is just outstanding. As the revs start to build away, and it was a slow getaway by Ethan Grigor. Again, tries to defend Ian Ford.
Car stalled on the grid. Sorry,
Brenton. Looks like there's a car that's not moving on the grid. We'll call the action here on the first corner. Everything looks like it's settled down. Corey deep under brakes. I reckon Corey's going to make a move inside Ethan Grigor. He has. So straight away, the defending champion has put himself on the back foot. Didn't see which car started. Corey's lost it. As soon as Corey found it, Corey lost it. So he spun onto the grass early. And looks like another car back there. Is that Greg Sharp as well, who's lost it as well in the same section? Not sure if he blew an engine there. Looked like an awful lot of smoke. But at the front, the battle for second position overall is already on here. Josh Rogers leads from Ian Ford. Little bit of a gap for Ethan Grigor. He had to back out of it with that Corey Preston spin. Mitch Searlack, Ryan O'Sullivan, Cooper Murray, Richard Aylward, Dave Baxter, Henry King, Simon Tennant, Adam Zettinger, Matt Morris, Paul Gorell lead that pack through.
Yeah, that was a crazy start. Everyone from behind James McKnight did a really good job. He just didn't get it going on the grid. So there was Ryan O'Sullivan was the first one on the scene, followed by his teammate Adam Zettinger right behind him. They were both lucky to avoid him. I think Daniel Ackland actually got into the back of him as well, then from 15th on the grid. So he just didn't get going. Unsure as to what happened there, but yeah, a couple of cars around. I've seen Greg Sharp, like you said, as well in the background. So crazy start to this race, and it's on as well. There's Ryan O'Sullivan actually goes for a move from Mitchell Searlack right now.
Yeah, that auto loan center car is ducked on the inside there. So the car 14 and Mitch Searlack in that car 10 look like that battle is just going to blend in. Rhino hasn't had much race time this week. I know, well, he did do the earlier race to be fair, but hasn't had much seat time. Probably a better way of looking at it. But these conditions will really suit Rhino. He's really, he just seems to lift when the weather's favourable. Has to work pretty hard, like most do when it gets a bit slippery, but he just loves these conditions, and he's like a duck to water.
That's the thing, some people like the cooler conditions, especially with the higher grip levels. Yes, not on the start, you won't have the grip level, but towards the end of the run, the tyres can still hold into that run. Some people don't like it. I know for a fact a couple of people who I've raced in other series don't like the cold weather. They'd rather run in hot, so it's just temperamental to what people like. But yeah, at the front, they're just sort of holding a gap. Josh Rogers leaning forward, starting to move away, but Ethan's starting to close in that little bit. Just had to avoid Corey on the start, but just getting into a rhythm now and just starting to close that gap. Still a long way to go.
Yeah, he is, and we're going to go back to this battle for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th here. David Baxter. Richard R was just in front of that train, but he looks like he's just drawn away that little bit. So we with David Baxter, the RRTV car, followed very closely with Henry King, the ANZ, Simon Tennant and Adam Zettinger as well. So a good little battle developing here, and even just behind them, Matt Morris and Paul Gorell. So, you know, early stages, just lap 2, but tactics will come into play. The pit window isn't open yet. I think with this cooler weather conditions, the cars are going to be using a lot more fuel. Probably we're thinking about 45 litres might have been needed in the pit stop, but I reckon they'll have to put a bit more than that into this.
Yeah, the lower temps brings to another little bit with the strategy, with the more fuel that they will burn. That's just going to change it up a little bit. It depends on maybe I think it would be better to run it long with the cooler temps, as David Baxter and Henry King getting at it. A little look to the inside. As Baxter actually goes deep. He's lost the rear. Did he hit Elwood?
No.
So close there, but he's made it through without any incident there, and just hopefully he can rejoin safely.
Well, he's going to try and join safely, just having a look there. Yeah, it looks all clear. Comes out just behind Emily Jones there, and yeah, it was... Oh, and behind them there's an incident as well. That's Brendan King, Bo Cattell and Michael Talajanak as well, getting a bit heated there in the background as well. We've actually got a couple of cars in pit lane at the moment as well. Dan Ackland, the KRF car, and Jeremiah Morton. Both those guys, their day is pretty much done for sure. But you know, the racing's been pretty hard so far, no doubt at all. It's been interesting to say the least. But in the background here, Matt Morris is in 11th place, just starting to recover a bit. Didn't get the greatest of starts, and that battle with Henry King and Richard Aylward, teammates, let it be known though, with ANZ. It's still going on. I know Dave Baxter apologised for that, but there was nothing wrong. It was, he just lost the back end of the car and didn't hit anyone, so race on.
Yeah, that's right. Just an error, and that's what happens in these cars, especially in this weather. Sometimes you can lose the back. But actually, Matt Morris has done a good start from 20th on the grid up to 11th already. There's some good starters moving up through the field. But just want to move our eyes back to the lead battle for a little bit. They're starting to close up, but the three of them have broken away. It's Rogers, Ford, and Ethan Griggold. They are all just starting to gut Ryan O'Sullivan at the moment.
Yeah, well, they are, and these are the top three in positions overall. Obviously, Ethan Griggold, three-time champion, there in third place. Josh Rogers at the moment in third, and Ian Ford in second. So reverse order at the moment. That battle for first and second, though, second and third, is very, very tight. Just 12 points, and probably Ian had a decent chance to get amongst them. Decent points on Saturday. Like I said, leading that race, popped an engine there, went 200 points flying away, and that would have been more than a little bit handy. However, right here, Rogers very, very deep there, wasn't it? Got himself into the rough stuff. Just that little bit, able to get a half-decent drive out of the corner, though. And it's back to situation normal. These three will keep racing hard to the end. It's up to where they pit and where they come out amongst other traffic.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just this little group of pack away. We've seen it all season. These three up front have been around the ball game. We've seen it Zolder, Ethan Griggold was fuel saving in third and fourth and managed to get the win there after Rogers made an uncharacteristic mistake, and this is what it's going to be all the way to the end. These three, this racetrack brings the best out of these drivers. It's technical, it's Bathurst-esque in a way.
Simon Tennant has absolutely launched it from the S's there, and his car will be absolute toast. Sorry, just on that first section of the S's there, he's just got the car lifted on the we'll have a look at that replay, but he's actually just come out of there just that little bit too hot and just got on the power, and that car has just absolutely T-boned that side wall. His day is done. He's actually already disconnected from the server, so day done for Simon Tennant, which is a bit unlucky for him. From 16th on the grid in the car 21, worked his way well up to 10th, so a top 10 spot possibly on the cards there for him, but HTR car is toast.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see that. It's just one of those parts where the rear ends get that little bit loose going over the bumps, and it happens to all of us, and it just got loose on him there, and it went around, couldn't catch it in time. Big hit into the inside wall, so it's the day done for that. Hopefully he comes back and gives it another crack. He was definitely on for a good result there, and it's a shame it happened.
Yeah, it is. In this battle up the front, like you said, we've got the TTO, ERA and STC cars 1, 2 and 3. Josh still hasn't broken through for that maiden win. We've seen Ian Ford have multiple wins. We've got Ethan Griggold. He's got multiple championships. He hasn't got that win yet for Josh Rogers, and he's not far away. He's listed as a Division 2 driver incredibly this season, so he's going to comfortably take out the Division 2 title. He's a mile and a half ahead there. It's got himself pretty boring pretty quick. Ian Ford, though, under attack now from Ethan Griggold, so what that might do is give Josh that little bit of a chance to make that bit of a getaway to get out of that draft. Ian might have to worry about defending shortly from Ethan Griggold. Real shame that Corey binned it so early after that outstanding start. Got himself in front of Ethan Grigol at the start. Would have been great to see the Boost 6 car up amongst it as well.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that happened. But once again, these two don't want to battle. We've seen it at Monza. There's a little Ethan was in front. Ford and Josh Rogers were actually in second and third at the time, and they actually started to have a battle, and they lost ground to Ethan. If it happens again, they could easily lose ground to Rogers. And at this track, yes, with the pit stop strategy, they may have to change it up, because if they start getting in a heated battle, it could all change in a minute. But just want to move our eyes back as well. Mitchell Selak has gotten around Ryan O'Sullivan into turn 1 that lap as well.
Yeah, so a good little fight back there by Mitch, and it's a track that I reckon would suit Mitch. He still hasn't put his new updated skin on. That's obviously getting it ready for next week, where we'll go to the round 1 of the Premier Series at Montreal next week, so make sure you get involved with that. Quick qual on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think 6 hours pre-qual each of those nights. The rules and regs came out yesterday. 40 cars in 2 splits, so keep your eyes out for that. That should be on iRacing Live as well with V8s online, and really that's going to be an outstanding series. Round 1, Jared Filser will be the defending champion there, but there's guys lining up. I still believe Jared's the fastest, but there are now guys lining up to get amongst that, and that's going to be such a close series. Looking forward to that. I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to Jake as well, getting off a little bit in regards to the AEC, the Australian Endurance Championship yesterday. Bathurst 12 hour, give or take the result, that's run, done and won. But I'm going to give a shout out to Scotty Stevens, because the lad had a lot of grief on him yesterday. The driving was ordinary, we know that. And Scotty does all that work, does all the background stuff, and kudos to him, because he did a really good job yesterday.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job yesterday when I came home after my little track day, so he did an awesome job there. And yeah, we're just looking at this battle between Richard Alwood and Henry King and Adam Zettinger in behind them. So Zettinger's actually made up some ground on these guys. He was actually battling with Paul Gorell in that early on, and he's caught these guys in front of him and started to work his way up the back. But Henry King hasn't been able to get around Richard Alwood early, and he's just maybe, I don't know whether he's getting held up a little bit, but they're definitely going to start fighting pretty soon.
Well, these are the 2 ANZ cars, aren't they? They look a little bit different with livery, but they are the 2 different ANZ cars, and Henry's car is going to be well out of balance after hitting that curb so hard. This is Adam Zettinger. We were talking about him on the grid. Up until last week, he didn't know anything about official racing at all. He did a little bit here, a little bit there, but didn't know these Monday night races existed. And from Wheelie Bins came over to ERA, and he has been such a breath of fresh air into the team. I'll probably talk team-wise there for a sec, but he's just done an outstanding job. He's driving the Ford Falcon, much to everyone's misery within the team. But for someone who's never done this before, he's straight on the pace, and he will only get quicker as the weeks go on.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see him rise through the ranks and then definitely start to be a force to reckon with as he comes up and learns the way all this other stuff runs outside of what he was used to. It's a weird thing that happens, but also I just wanted, looking back there, Corey Preston's actually running in 11th at the moment, so he's sort of still going and hasn't lost as much ground as I would have thought. Maybe, obviously it's not to his liking of where he'd like to be. He'd like to be up the front battling for that lead, but he's still on the track and making headway now. He may be able to still get a good top 10 result, maybe even push for a bit better than that.
Yeah, you never know. Back in the background though, like we've got these guys here with Zettinger, Aylward and King, but just behind them, Paul Gorell and Corey Preston, like you were saying, are on their way up to this pack, and this is going to turn into a 5-way battle soon. I would imagine that Adam's going to be pretty keen to get past these 2 ANZ cars who don't really look like they're battling too hard. I'm not sure whether Henry's being held up. Sometimes you probably think yes, but then Richard's such a fast, consistent driver, and certainly no doubt having a great time in ANZ team, after pretty much running by himself season after season. So it's good to have good people around him, and his racing has improved already. You can see that. But already here around that last turn, this is on the end of lap 70, Adam's got a really good run on Henry here, and he should be very, very threatening as they cross the start finish line with a 49.115 for Henry King. But I would imagine Adam's going to stick his nose in here. Whether he can pull it up in time, yes, he does. Yep. So clean pass there, the car 25, well up the order now in 8th place. So some healthy rating if that's what he's after there. And Henry's just lost the back end a little bit. That's
wow,
good
good save.
Off the back and bring Paul Gorell into that battle as well. So yeah, a really good save by Henry, no doubt at all. But that's going to bring Paul, who's going to be pretty anxious to get some passing done shortly.
Yeah, he just nipped the grass in the entry into turn 3 and just got the rear loose. And yeah, great save there, managed to keep it on the racetrack. But yeah, Paul Gorell's now closed into on the back of Henry King. So as soon as Adam got around him, he made a mistake and got back in the battle. But also, I just had a look back. All the way for 22nd on the grid, and we got Emily Jones in 12th at the moment. I think she's just kept her nose clean and just running the way she has, and she's doing actually competitive lap times at the moment, and it's good to see her up in P12 at the moment.
Yeah, 49.173 last lap for Emily, so that's awesome to see her. Livery hasn't come through on my screen, unfortunately, so it's just
actually just pushing to the lead. Sorry, we got a battle for the lead on at the moment. Sorry, guys. Ethan Grigol is now actually challenging for the lead. What has happened here? Sorry, guys. We've been watching everyone else, but he got the lead done. Rogers down to second, Ian Ford in third, and he's on up front.
Well, we've missed that completely. I do apologise for watching elsewhere, but that's a game breaker right there, isn't it? And let's see what Josh can do. He's going to be so keen as he sticks his nose again into turn 1, but watch the drive that Ethan gets out. Is he going to be held out to dry a little bit? Yes. So wow, this is exciting racing. Tell you what, not sure Ian Ford will want to stick his nose in here, but I reckon he'll want to keep it just behind him. Lap 9 pit window is really close to open here, and he has gone from 3rd to 1st in just a few corners and then got passed again by Josh. So some outstanding racing. We're going to stick with this for a while with the TTL, STC and ERA cars. This is where the battle is, and this is the top 3 for the positions overall.
Yeah, I just went back and had a look at what happened, and Ian Ford and Rogers, they were side by side going into turn 14 after the back straight, and they just got down his inside. They went a bit late, and then Ethan just came through and had a little bit of a show there. So that's where it all started, and it's on now. They've really bunched up, and it's Ethan's still all over the back of Josh Rogers there, and this is going to be good. Josh Rogers will be a bit vulnerable here. Ethan will be in the draft, and so will 40. So it's just going to be this is the great passing opportunity, especially coming down now. So he should be able to have a look if he gets the run, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to have a look. He's going to get the nose up the inside there, but it actually brings it to the outside of the next corner. He's not going to be able to get it done. So good hold there by Josh Rogers as they come around another lap.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a hook there by Josh going into the braking zone for sure, and that really pulled up late. Ethan, just a little bit of a glitch there. But these guys are really, really on it. Have a look at the lap time there last lap for Ethan, considering that it was in traffic as well. A 48.2, again backs up with another 48.2. Josh on full defensive into turn 1.
Yeah, big defensive, and I knew he's outbraked himself again. He's got it pulled up, just pulled in behind 40. Wow, he just outbraked himself just a little bit on the defensive run, holding off Ethan, and it's hurt him a little bit there. He's dropped in behind. Hopefully he regather himself and have another attack.
Well, this is the question now. Pit window open, lap 10 of 29. Do you want to pit yet? Get that fresh rubber on and give yourself track position. The one who actually looks like he's struggling out of this is actually the Maverick Welding car back in 3rd. Certainly dropped off a bit of pace there. I think Ian's going to be relying on these two guys battling here to stay amongst us. I probably just lost a bit of drive there, but Ian's been really, really strong around here this week. But this battle up the front, the Simpit car and that Pagnian sponsored car are really going at it, hammer and tong. And the way that Josh has developed over the last 2 seasons to get himself into this position where he is racing amongst the very best that V8 Supercars has to offer is just a credit to himself and to the team that back him week in, week out.
Yeah, TTL have done an amazing job for Josh Rogers at the moment. He's definitely showing his pace, and he's showing it right now. We've shown it all season as he has a look going into turn 14. Don't think he's going to get it done. I know what I'd be thinking if I was 40, trying to undercut them. Get yourself in a clean air. I don't know how the traffic's going to look. That's the main issue that with the undercut is, especially with this lead that they pulled out, because they are 7 seconds clear of Mitchell Sealack and Ryan O'Sullivan at the moment as they just start to have another crack coming down onto the front straight.
Oh, and I think he just got his left rear on the grass there a little bit. Might have affected the drive out. Didn't look like it did overall here. Still carrying a bit of pace, so for the first time in a few laps we don't have cars side by side in the turn one. Any ground that Ian Ford had lost previously, he's now gained, but he might lose out again because he just went that little bit too deep. This is where Ethan is so clean, isn't it? This real little section here. The corners just keep flowing, second, third gear corners. But it's an awesome track. It's been a favourite amongst the V8 drivers for a long while.
Yeah, it has been. I just want to pick up, we've actually lost Henry King from that battle in the back. I don't know what happened to him, but he has dropped off the back of Paul Garrell and disappeared. He's down in P number 19 at the moment. So yeah, just wanted to update on that.
Yeah, so just having a look through that field, whether there's been any changes. Cialak has just pulled away from Ryan Sutton. Cooper Murray's had a pretty quiet race, it has to be said, in 6th position. Richard Aylward, and yeah, there is another battle back here. Richard Aylward and Adam Zatinga. Not sure whether Adam's that well at the moment with his ping. Looks like he's dropping in and out. And also, Paul Garrell has made that move on Corey Preston. I'm trying to find where Henry King is.
Long way back.
Lost him. Yeah, well, he might have pitted. We'll have a look here. He pitted. So lap 9, okay. Henry's had his pit. So let's just see what he can do with these new tyres. And he's come out in a clean track. Well, that's the most important thing for him. So that's going to be a point of interest as to how much his time can improve. So as Dan Ackland, who had his dramas on the start line, he'll also be coming back out as well. So some
Josh Rogers
awesome
in second.
As Rogers has come in, I think that's a good call. I think that's a really good call. If he can come out in clean traffic, and that's the thing. So let's just see where he comes out as he just hits his mark, and he goes deep on the up now. Has he gone too far past? No, he hasn't. So, well, originally we were expecting about 45 litres. The car's just sitting there in the background. You can actually see on occasion the cars go around sitting there for a while. He's going to need more than 45 litres. He's already going to have one car come out in front, and Dan Ackland. I think the track's going to be pretty clear for him, or Emily Jones might come through. I don't think she's going to get there just. So the only car that Rogers has got in front is that car that has actually lapped him.
Yeah, that was the car that Ackland was coming in. He was actually just getting caught by the leaders, but that is a perfect time for Rogers to pit. I don't know who his spotter is tonight, but they definitely worked that out to perfection, got him in one of the best positions at the moment. There is a massive gap of that about 10 seconds that he's got in front of him. He can now start punching out those laps. This is what Ethan and Fordy didn't want to see, that early stop. They'll have to react this time because of that air gap that he has, and if he can start to benefit from it, they will lose more time. And Rogers has just done a really good call, and it could pay out later on.
Yeah, it is exactly that, and Ford and Ethan will have to react. If they don't react, they will lose touch upon them exiting the pits. So let's just get back on board here with our top two at the moment. There's a little bit of a gap between the two. Expect both of them to pit though. So as they come around that final corner, neither of them pit. I think they're making a mistake. I genuinely think they're making a mistake. Maybe Ford can hang on to the coattails of 47.125 for Ford, 47.356 for Ethan Grigalt. But let's have a look at that gap as they go across the start-finish line, because it's all about the track position of Josh Rogers, and he came out in some clear air, so there's no dramas there. He's going to be really, really quick for sure. As he exits the last turn now, this is where the interest is. Forget the lap time, this is an out lap, as Adam Zatinga also pits. So Rogers crosses the start-finish line 35.1 seconds behind. Expect gains to be made there.
Yeah, that little bit of a gain that could be happening there, I think, yeah. But they are running considerably quick pace at the front as we look at Paul Garrell, as Corey Preston actually runs wide through the exit of turn 3. He picked it back up. He spun there earlier on in the day. He's managed to regather it now. He's got Richard Aylward in front of him. Adam Zinninger has pitted that lap before. So this has just livened up this little battle back here. But yeah, I think Ethan and Ford, they need a pit, but they are running considerably quick times. When you think of it, a 47.2 from quali for Ethan Grigalt, and he ran a 47.3 as well as a 47.4 in quali for 40, and runs a 47.1 that last time by. The track temperature is definitely helping him at the moment.
Well, the pace has picked up, no doubt at all. The thing is here, with the battle of Garrell, Preston here, like these guys are doing 49 and a halves. Rogers is 10 seconds down the road. I don't think he'll actually make... I think the three in front of him would probably pit before Rogers gets to him.
Ethan's in.
Yeah, so Greg Gault pits now. And this is where the interesting part is now. I'm just going to stick with this as he comes slowly down that pit lane, 70 k's an hour. And Ryan O'Sullivan in the meantime goes through. So no stopping for the Auto Loan Centre car. Surprising they haven't, and Cooper also doesn't stop as well. Let's see how much fuel Ethan puts in, whether he gets out quicker. Be interested to know the pit times there.
Rogers coming around the last corner now.
Ethan is on his way, so we'll go on board with Josh Rogers here and see what he sees, and I reckon Ethan's clear. Yes, he is. So a 16.998, so a 17-second pit stop for Ethan Greg Gault there. Interested to see what the time for Josh Rogers was, but that's a significant gain, it looks like, and just a 17.2 for Rogers. So, gee whiz, just that 1/10 of a second or 2/10 of a second there. But that gap is just stretched out a little bit. The next one we need to see is whether Ian Ford pits now. I think he's going to need to. His last lap was a 46.975. It was actually, it's actually his quickest lap of the race so far. But that might have been draft assisted, so that Maverick Welding car, they've got a few decisions to make whether they pit now as he comes up to this little windy section here, third gear corner. Some take it in second to get a bit of turn in. But if we just stay on board the Ford car now, we were 31 seconds ahead of Josh before. It's actually out to 34.5, which is really, really surprising. Does Ford pit? No, he does not. So he's going to go on for another lap here. He's going to have a lighter tank, there's no doubt about that. He throws in a 47.1 as Mitch Cierlach is in the pits. So I'm thinking obviously Mitch has got himself an issue there because the car doesn't look that bad. I'm just wondering whether he might have popped an engine or there's something we haven't seen as Ryan O'Sullivan enters the pit. So yeah, Mitch Cierlach's actually already been in the pits for over 2 minutes. So obviously something gone wrong with that ANZ car, unfortunately for Mitch. But he can be confident that there's genuine race pace there. Corey Preston also pits as well. So the car 8 of Preston, who'd be pretty bit disappointed as to what happened there in the early stages. And Josh Rogers in the meantime has just done the new fastest lap of the race, so trying to chase down the Ethan Greg Gault car in front of him, and actually has already made some ground there, and 34.2 seconds, so a 46.8 last time across the start line for Josh Rogers. 46.880 new fastest lap.
Yeah, when you look at that in comparison to 40, he's done a 47.1. He's not losing. He's losing a couple of tenths right now. He did do a 46.9, which was actually quicker than Rogers' out lap, his new fast lap, which he did a 47.0. So he's just got that little bit of a cushion. He may have lost a tenth here and there, but maybe staying out is actually help. I don't know whether this is the right call. I know if I was 40, I'd be pitting this lap. I think you don't want to keep it out for too long because they will start making the ground. And now that Rogers is in the back draft, he's right in the draft as they come around the oak tree of Ethan Greg Gault, he will benefit from that.
40 goes on again. Maybe it's also tyre temperature as 40 crosses the strike here on the end of this lap of 47.169. That's super consistent driving. Bit of a shout out here to Cooper Murray as well, the car 13. He hasn't pitted yet either, as again he goes across the line. So Cooper Murray, he's 15.5 seconds down on our race lead at the moment, but Cooper Murray staying out there a bit longer. But the battle here with Ethan Greg Gault, who just takes that last the last one that little bit wide. He's going to drop a bit of straight line speed here as they go across the strike. Rogers is now all over the back of Ethan Greg Gault again. These guys are 47.3. They're actually at a 46.814 for Josh Rogers. The battle here is between these two. It isn't between Rogers and Ford. It's between Ethan and Ford. So if Ethan drops off and takes Rogers with him, well, Ford's made a bit of a gain here. But I'm not sure that's going to be the case. 33.9 seconds now is the gap between Ian Ford in first and these two guys in third and fourth.
Yeah, a little bit of a time loss there from Ethan. Yes, Rogers would benefit from the draft that lap, so got a little bit of a better time there. But definitely it's between Ethan and Ford. It was a little bit close at the time when they come in. He came in around the same time, gained a couple of tenths that lap. I think, yeah, you don't want to keep it out there for too long. I think it's definitely not helping the cause of Ian Ford at the moment. Yes, like you're saying, you have a lighter tank towards the end and not have to put maybe as much. I don't know whether he was fuel saving behind them or he was third for most of that first half, so he may be able to put a little bit less fuel. I don't know what he was up to in that, but I think he's going in this lap, coming in this lap.
Ford
so 40 in.
Well, this is where we're going to find out everything, and what we're going to do. Just wondering whether young Cooper's going to lead his first lap. Actually, both the brothers Fords have come in, so Ian Ford and Michael Ford racing his first official race for the KRF team, and Cooper also pitting in the background. I tell you what, is Cooper going to get a drive through there? I'm not sure about his entry there, whether he pulled that up in time, but I want to get on board with Ethan Grigalt and Josh Rogers there. I'm going to sit in the cockpit here, and let's just see if we get to see a flash of blue and yellow come out in the pits in front of him.
Yeah, well, Fordy got going pretty quickly. It was a good stop there from Ford, and he has benefited from that. That's a great gap he's got at the moment. It will close up over the later part of the first opening lap as Ford gets his tyre up. A 16.2 second stop from Ian, so he was a second quicker in the stop than Josh Rogers and about 8 tenths quicker than Ethan Grigalt, so he gained it there, but that time's starting to come down, but a little bit more of an air gap that Ford might need to hold him off at the moment.
It's all about tyre temperature right here, isn't it? He stayed out, and those tyres stayed warm, but as much as they were warm before, they're cold right now, and Ethan Grigalt and Josh Rogers now have the warm tyres, and they're going to make short work of this ERA Commodore in front. They're going to make severe ground early on him. Once Ford gets some tyre pressure up and gets... Oh, is he going to make a move here? Don't do that there. Don't do that. It's not a passing spot there. He got absolutely shoved out of that.
Yeah, 40 cut the inside corner a bit, and as I'm looking at it back, and yeah, just a little bit of a tap that was a bit uncharacteristic. Not the place you want to do that. Yeah, not the place you want to be putting the car. It's sort of a... Yeah, I don't like that. But as Josh Rogers now coming up behind Ian Ford, I think Rogers will definitely have the straight line speed. I don't know if either of those two have damage. It was a fair bit of contact, but Ian Ford holding his own up against Rogers. Both of them very late. Ian Ford looks like he's recovered and got second, but yeah, a bit of a cheeky move there from Ethan.
Yeah, that's not how it's done, that's for sure. Ethan generally a pretty clean driver, but certainly gave that car a shove. But this is where we're going to say that Ian's going to struggle in these cold tyres, and I'm not sure whether he got any damage there as well, but I can tell you that as hot as the tyres are, I reckon inside the cockpit's about 40 degrees hotter, because he will be filthy at that move. And this is going to suit Ethan down to the ground if Josh and Ian start battling as well. Now, this is exactly what Ethan wants. It's happened before. It's looking like it's going to happen again too. So, action now, lap 18.
Oh,
Rogers makes that mistake. If he goes on the grass, he's going to drop off so much time. So we know he's quick. There's no doubt about that. Whether he can now make that ground back up. Tell you what, he actually did pretty well not to lose more time. He did really well to keep at least 2 wheels there onto the track, but if that all 4 got on the grass, he was out of there, but did really good job pulling that up. But he's now going to be out of the draft, and let's see if Ian can make any gains there on that lead car.
Yeah, that just releases the pressure from Ford as Rogers in the background again, 2 wheels in the dirt, so definitely just lost that bit of a rhythm after the little mistake coming there into turn 3. He's just going to go to get his rhythm back. He's lost some time, but he can get that back. We know he's fast. He can do it. Ian Ford definitely 40 degrees hotter in that car. It's going to be fuming. He's going to be forcing that car to catch up. He does have the fresher tyres. We've got to keep that in consideration. He was the latest one to pit of these guys. Yes, his tyres weren't up to temperature on that opening lap just then, but he will be coming up now. His tyres will start to get up to temp, and we've seen that he could run considerable good pace even after the guys left him for the draft. So we'll see how he goes now, but as Ethan runs a little bit wide, got the ripple strip on the exit, but he's starting to close that gap now.
Yeah, I don't know if Ethan is running wide. He just thinks that, I've said it before, but I think he's just doing that every lap. I think that's the line he takes. That the tyres in the car number 2 will be up to temperature now. 3 laps newer than the Ethan Grigg Galt tyres. Josh Rogers with that mistake already looks like he's made a little bit of ground on this pair. 2.1 seconds off of the lead car of Ethan Grigg Galt. Forget the lap time, that was with a mistake, but still faster than most people out there, to be fair. But Mick Ford's actually in the pits and he stayed there. There's another little battle developing here though, with Cooper Murray, who's worked himself up to a fantastic 4th position, a 48.111 last lap. But he's got Ryan O'Sullivan just making little gains here and there. The Auto Loan car there looking absolutely mint with that blue, silver and white. Just those little gains, so don't be surprised if something happens there. Richard Arwood has certainly settled himself into 6th position. But behind them, the KRF car of Paul Garrell. Welcome back into the top 10, Paul. Great to have you back here. And Adam Zartinga as well. He's our rookie for this race, and this is a great little battle for 7th and 8th.
Yeah, it's good battles all the way through the field. It's sort of hard to pick something that you want to watch, but at the moment, Ian Ford 4/10 quicker last lap on his opening flying lap, and it is now, he is starting to gain ground. He's in the draft of Ethan Grigg Galt. He's, I don't know whether he's going to be still remembering of that little bit of contact coming up over the roller coaster over the top there. Now as he comes down through this roller coaster through the final corners of this track, he's now going to be all over the back of him by the end of, I say, the next lap with that draft assisted back straight.
Yeah, well, I'm just also watching this little battle. It's just developing, isn't it, nicely? And I say it before, Adam God didn't even know there was official races until last week. So for him to be putting his toes in the water here, he's not going to be able to commit to every Monday night race for sure due to work commitments, but it's great to have Adam out here doing what he's doing. And Paul Garrell, he has improved a lot over the last few weeks. I think he's had quite a bit of track time, and he's also got a bit of help now with Michael Ford joining that team, brings a bit of experience to help him out. I know that those two guys are running together in the Premier Series endurance races, but Adam's got a really, really good drive out of the last turn here. Not sure if he's going to get close enough here to make a move. So as they enter lap 20, doesn't look like he's going to be quite close enough. No, he's not. Little gains here made, however, on Garrell, on Ale with a 49.2 for him, as Garrell makes that mistake. So the experienced guys made a bit of a trip up there, and these guys are still in front of Corey Preston, which surprised him. Just wondering whether Corey's had a few mistakes. Well, we saw that one at the start, also another one on lap 5. Surprised to see him back there, but what that's done now is release the Tinger there to see what he can do with Richard Aylward in front.
Yeah, he just made a little error getting on the gas a bit too early coming out of turn 1, so he's got going, but I think there's a little bit of chatter going on at the moment. They're all still going, it's all going out the back. But yeah, Ford up front, once again, he has closed in, a little bit of draft assistance as well has helped him. But the fastest one out of the top 3, Josh Rogers. He is starting to come, he's now dropped that gap to 1.9 seconds to the leader. He's got the headlights turned on, most probably in his head, and he is gone.
Yeah, well, what he wants these two up front to do is to start battling, start driving side by side into turns 1, into turns 8, and things like that. Start getting it side by side. Take a 10th off here, take a 10th off there. I don't think he's quite close enough at the back of Ian Ford. No, he wouldn't be to be getting any draft assistance at the moment. If you're on board with Ethan Grigg Galt and you're Ian Ford, well, what do? Do you take the fight to each other now, or do you just put your head down? Not so much work together, but work in tandem and try and drive away from Rogers, stretch that elastic. I don't think these two guys have got that in them at the moment, but these guys are already driving as hard as they can. Ford always seems to drop out at the start of those S's there. He doesn't get quite as good drive out of those S's there, third gear turn. This is a great part of the track right here. It's just flat and it's 6 here, or 5th change and 6 halfway through. These guys are taking it flat, dropping the 5th, dropping to 4th. This is where we saw Ethan give Ian a bit of a nudge a few laps ago. I don't believe that's a passing opportunity. That turn, what happened there is what happened there. No doubt the boys will talk about it. But as they go around the old oak tree, it's not there anymore in real life. Unfortunately, they had to get rid of it. But Ford makes that ground here easily because he's in that draft.
As well, yeah, the first part of the track Ford doesn't look as strong, but over this second part he's definitely gained ground. Yes, the draft helps him a bit, but he still keeps up with him. Got to think we've only got 9 laps to go. When they cross the line, there will only be 8 to go. that's winding down. There's still some time left, especially for Rogers to get back in it if these two up front start the battle. It's all just got to play out here. I don't know how Ian's going to take this. Yeah, you must be right about Ethan's line. Definitely looks wide, but he's taken it again. So it's just going to be one of those things that Rogers looks like he's dropped off a little bit this lap as well. So maybe a little mistake there.
Yeah, so a 46.8 for the pair in front, or 46, 8s and 8s, and a 47.4, so a 0.6 of a second drop there by Rogers. So thinking there that he might have, well, let's face it, 47.4 is not exactly the worst lap in the world, but I'm thinking he must have dropped a little bit of time. New fastest lap of the race by Ethan Grigol at 46.778, so new fastest lap for Ethan Grigol on lap 22.
Yeah, you got it done. I'm just trying to find what happened to Rogers, because he's lost actually a considerable amount of time compared to where he was. He was only that 14. He's done it again, I think, coming around the through that back section to turn 3 again. He's just got to drop 2 tyres off, and he may have lost a little bit of ground there. So starting to lose a bit of ground, but up front these two are certainly pushing hard. Running 46.8 quick and 46.7 from Ethan Grigol, running those times at this time of the race quicker than quali. They are on it, and they are not going to give up until they see that checkered flag.
Tell you what though, if you're Ford's made a little bit of a mistake there around the second turn of those 2 turns around the oak tree, so he certainly lost a bit of time there. And I was just about to say, you're not going to give up if you're Josh Rogers, because Ford's going to be having a little bit of red mist after what happened up there, and I think if he gets a chance of getting that ERA card next to that card, he's not going to back out of it, we know that. He makes so much ground there, but loses at the start of the S's around the back, and Josh Rogers, I just don't know. I think now he's relying on mistakes by the first 2 to get up there.
Yeah, that's not something you want to be doing this late in the race as they come across the line to complete lap 22. It's one of those things now that Rogers just needs to put his head down. He can't rely on them to battle, but they will battle. 40 once again had a little mistake around the O-Treak, but has gained it back as he goes really deep into turn 1 and gained actually a lot of time there. He's gained a good couple of car lengths on Ethan Grigol. He was able to get the power down as well, so he's done that really well, able to close the gap. But this Sim Pit Commodore out in front, we've seen it out in front multiple times, and he's just doing it again. It's got a lot of pressure on the back with Ian Ford in the Maverick Welding Holden, so this is going to be one to watch.
Well, it's a big difference with pitting though, isn't it? Like, it's those 3 extra laps of tyres might make the difference here. He made that ground back up, made that little mistake around the oak tree, dropped off, might not have even gotten in draft, but he's certainly back in there amongst it now. That 47.1 for both of them, a 118 and a 108 for these lead 2 cars, and 47.2 for Josh. Like I said, he's now got to the stage where he's relying on mistakes by these first 2. Shout out here to Josh Rogers though, and pretty obvious I'm a bit of a fan, but that's a team yesterday that won the Bathurst 12 hour in the HPD, with Rogers crossing the finish line there in first place in front of the ERA HPD there. And also a shout out for the ERA train, but the ERA guys had a 1-2 in the C7s, and the Mad Cow Racing picked up a win in the GT3 class. And what was, we've had 24-hour races, we've had 12-hour races, but that seemed like a long 12-hour race.
Yeah, multiple cautions as I wasn't there for most of it, but it seemed like a long 12-hour race, and it's one of those things that happens. But today we don't have a caution. Today we've got a good hard nuddle up front, and a little bit of a cheeky move from the Simpit Commodore a couple of laps ago, and here comes 40 really deep on the brakes again into turn 1. Ethan didn't actually get it turned into the apex and ran a bit wide, maybe not the line he would have liked to have had, but Ford is there, not many laps to go, and he's just filling up those mirrors of that Simpit Commodore.
Tell you something, on Saturday, Ethan only led 1 lap, I think it was, of the V8 Supercars Americas race. And the only lap that he led was the last lap. Marlon McMullen was leading pretty much throughout the race after Ian dropped an engine on probably about lap 8 or 9. And Marlon just went that little bit too deep into turn 1. Ethan was able to shove his nose in quite cleanly, no dramas there at all, and was able to hang on to win. He only led 1 lap. Well, who's to say it won't happen again? I know Ian's led multiple laps by staying out, but who's to say that you won't get a lead change on this last lap, which is coming up? We're on lap 24 of 29 now. looking up in front, there's actually some lap cars about to happen. Michael Talajdak and Sean Chappell in front. Sean got caught up early from what I understand. That could also make a difference.
Yeah, that little bit of lap traffic late on in this race is not what these two leaders want to see. Is Ford really deep under brakes? Do you think he's going to have a look? Or Ford is sideways. He saved it. Wow, they were both really late on the brakes. Ford wanted to have a look, but he has lost a lot of time right there to Ethan Grigault. He may be able to pick that up, but I think also the tyres aren't helping for Ethan and Rogers. That may have been why Rogers has dropped off. Rogers was the first one to pit, then Ethan, and Ford stayed out multiple laps later. Ford's tyres will be in a sort of optimal range. I know all of them will be, but just that little bit less tyre wear could benefit him towards later on this run, especially with his lap traffic. Depending on where they catch him, could play a major part as Ethan runs a bit wide into turn 1.
Certainly not going to be temperature problems with the rears there. If anything, it might be too hot. But he was able to pick that up so well. I thought it was gone. I thought that back was coming around. I keep saying it, don't discount Josh Rogers here. Little gains made last lap 25 of 29 here. I think there's going to be at some stage during this race that the Ford and Ethan will get next to each other. What happens after that, don't know, but I reckon it's going to be some pretty exciting viewing. I'm just going to have a look down through the field as well, see what else is happening. Cooper Murray looks like he's certainly implanted himself in 4th position there, although he's only got a couple of seconds on Ryan O'Sullivan, but certainly doesn't look like any movement there. Here's a battle that we're going to be looking out for now, actually. We'll go to this for a short sec. Richard Arwood, Adam Zatinga, Paul Gorell and Corey Preston. This is a battle here with Bo Cattell actually making gains as well. So this is a battle that goes all the way from 6th down to a 10th position. Sorry, 11th position now. Nope, 10th. I was right the first time. And Emily's gone off in the background.
I don't know whether Alwood's gone off, but I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know where he's gone. Yeah.
Ping is all over the shop. It's on the way up. I hope he sticks in there, but his ping's gone well over 1,000, and it's not looking like backing off at the moment. It's still going up. So hopefully Rich will be able to stick with this on it. There we go, it's starting to improve now, but Adam's actually had to back out of that because it is quite daunting when you've got the car in front of you bouncing all over the shop, but it looks like it's going to start settling down now as these cars are all lining up single file. There's certainly going to be some action here amongst these guys as well.
Yeah, there's going to be action all over the place, and I just want to quickly take your eyes up to the front. They are starting to catch those lap cars, and it's in turn 3. This is not a spot you want to catch them because you want to try and move these cars out of the way before you go uphill through that turn 7-8 as Michael Talajanak actually moves over and let the leaders through turn 4. That's a good time to let them through. We just got to hope Sean Chappell does the same coming down this little straight here that they've got. And I think he's going to do that, so he moves over to the left, lets these two leaders through as they go up the hill.
Yeah, that's super impressive by those two guys. They were battling, and hopefully their battle looks like it will resume. I'll tell you what might happen there, whether Josh, does he get caught up a little bit amongst it? Yeah, the lap traffic have done their best there for sure. I think Josh may have dropped a tenth, half a tenth there. But what he's lost there, he might gain. Now, Chappell's also led him through, so really, really good job there by Talajanak and Chappell, so well done to them.
Yeah, good job. They got out of the way really well and made it easy for them. I think we've also got I think there was a little bit of that battle pack. I think we've had an incident. We've lost Paul Gorella's spun. I'm just going to have a quick look back. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact. I'm trying to figure out
has got some problems. Well, Bo Cattell has got some issues.
Yeah, Gorel lost it going into turn 1, locked the rears under brakes, having a look, and then it spun, and he spun in front of Bo Cattell, so Cattell couldn't get moving out of the way of that one, and actually was just an innocent bystander, so Mershally had some damage.
And Aylward's gone wide as well around the oak tree. He hasn't hit the tyres there. But it's Merry Christmas lap here for Adam Zatinga because he has promoted himself, and also for Corey Preston. So these guys have made 3 positions in 1 lap alone, and Adam Zatinga is away now, so he's certainly promoted himself up through the order, up into 6th position at the moment.
Yeah, benefited from some people's mistake there late on in the run. Like I said, it's late on the run, lap 27 now of lap 29, and the front 2 are close again. This is where the fireworks are going to happen. It's I don't know what's going to happen. Like you said, as soon as these cars get side by side, we'll find out what happens after it. And it's going to be on as we look back to the battle. It's Cooper Murray and Ryan O'Sullivan actually. Sully's actually gotten around Cooper Murray at turn 1 there. Nice move. He's done that well, and it's moved him up into P number 4. So good drive there from Ryan O'Sullivan.
Well, that was not so long ago. I was saying it was settled down. Rhino was about 2 seconds behind there. Made that move stick, so well done to him. Not sure whether Cooper's struggling on tyres or not, but certainly doesn't look as racy as he has other laps. There's no doubt about it. Actually looks like he's backed off from the back of Ryan O'Sullivan and heads off to Ryan there, because he hasn't, like I said, hasn't done a lot of driving. But up at the front, Ethan Grigor has almost parked it on the apex there.
Again, Ford got loose on the apex.
Yeah,
I don't think
Ethan's
he's got that.
He's not going to be massively happy here at the end of this race. But he's not going to make that ground on Ethan Grigor now. 2 laps to go. I don't think he needs to look over his shoulder either, but gee whiz, really, really deep. And, you know, he had to have a go eventually, but he's just lost so much drive there and the car backed up. You never know. He could still make that ground up, but even if he does, we've seen how determined Ethan is to hold off any advances, shall we say.
Yeah, he's done well at that, and he's done it well multiple times. I think that's the wrong position for 40 to be attacking. It's certainly not the position I would be thinking to make a move, but he keeps having to go there, and it's not working. I think he needs to put his head down. He has the fresher tyres, put out some really quick quali laps for these last 2 laps, maybe have another look there on the final time, but I don't think he'll get there in the end, but never count him off.
No, never count him off, no doubt at all, but he doesn't want to be making any mistakes here either, so it looks like a good battle has come to an end there. Dave Baxter in the meantime with Brendan King. That's a pretty spunky looking skin on that Brendan King there. The old Greg Murphy came up 51. Not sure who painted that Knight Rider Designs there, but this battle's been just developing. We saw Dave Baxter early on was very, very competitive, made a mistake that we saw, and it's dropped him down the order a bit. But Dave Baxter and Brendan King, I thought Brendan King was with ANZ, so unless his skin just hasn't come through on my screen, but I would have thought he'd be running the ANZ skin tonight, but that came up 51 for all to see.
Yeah, that came out at 51. I actually got to recover that. It's Matthew Nevercoat painted that. Paints a lot of the good liveries out there in the field, so he does a splendid job of all the remakes, and he's done another cracking one there. But the 03 car is Brendan King, gets a little bit loose going to turn 3, but just moving back up to the front, and that gap is solidly out in front for Ethan Grigor. 1.2 seconds. Don't think Ford's going to be able to pull that one in.
No, it's the last lap as well, and Ford just goes that little bit too deep into turn 1, pinches the rears that little bit, so I would imagine it's going to be conversation time between those two privately after the race, and let them sort it out. They're big enough and ugly enough to sort out. Ryan O'Sullivan, to me, this has been an outstanding drive by Ryan. Up into 4th place again, an ex-KRF driver, has done a fantastic job. We're going to go back also to a person who's done a fantastic job, Adam Zatinga, but he's actually just been passed by a recovering Corey Preston, but there's still a bit of this drive to go. He actually got the 2 Falcons next to each other. You don't see that a lot these days, but these 2 Falcons, the 6 boost car, has got himself now up into 6th place. It really could have been a story of what could have been for Corey if he was able to keep it on the track in that first lap. But Adam's not going to go away here. Certainly very, very confident under brakes here. These guys are running 49 flats. Certainly not a shabby lap time at all, but they are considerably down, 55 seconds down on the lead.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of time on the lead, as we just watched Ethan Grigor as well. He's moving his way around through the middle of the track, and here he comes over the top. Ford really late in the brakes, runs deep in the background.
Yeah.
Don't think he'll be able to get that one done. 40 a bit late, but here comes Ethan coming around the last corner for the final time here at Virginia International Raceway. What a race that was. Bit of cheeky moves going on, but it's Ethan Grigor once again on the top step of the podium in front of Ian Ford. Well done there to Ethan. So Ian Ford in P2, and rounding out that podium, Josh Rogers.
Another week goes where Josh doesn't get the win, but another week goes where he impresses. But Ethan Grigor, congratulations to him. That's why he's a 3-time champion. Probably saw a side of him we don't normally see tonight. There was a certain amount of aggression in the way that he drove tonight, that has to be said, and like I said, hopefully the two guys will talk about that. Ryan O'Sullivan, in the meantime, he has done a spectacular job. He will finish this race in 4th positions. Congratulations to him. Cooper Murray, after the events of last Wednesday's OSR race, where he didn't paint himself in such a great picture, crosses the line in 5th. We've also got the Preston car and 6 and 7 with Adam Zatinga as well. Paul Gorell has actually just made a move on Richard Arwood. He has, so there's a change in position here as they go around across the finish line as well. So that's a change in position on the last lap there for 8th and 9th, and we've got other cars. Emily Jones, shout out here. I'm not going to get you the driver of the day today, Emily, but a decent shout out here. Got yourself a top 10, and this battle for Baxter and Brendan King lasted all the way to the end, and these guys finished just outside the top 10 in the 11th and 12th. So really good job there. We've got other guys coming in now. Bo Cattell saw the late mistake that Bo made there, and I'm thinking, is he the last of the finishers on the lead lap? Yes, he is. So Jake, we're getting good race after good race. You know, we had Zolder, and that was a great race, and then last week obviously, but yeah, tonight that was exceptional racing, and the 3 guys at the front, really true class of that field.
Yeah, another one of those great races. Maybe it's the Australian serves that we've been getting in these past 3 weeks that's definitely livened up the racing, as I'll go through the results now. So once again, Ethan Griggold, it's another one in the books, and it's another win as he tries to go for the 4th championship. Ian Ford in 2nd. I wonder whether those two will be having a bit of conversation, I'd say. So Rogers in 3rd, rounding out the podium. Ryan O'Sullivan, great drive in P4, getting Cooper Murray there for 5th. Corey Preston in 6th with Adam Zettinger, great driver as well, in 7th. Paul Gorell as well, another good strong result from 11th on the grid, finishing in 8th. Richard Alwood from 12th to 9th. Another thing, Emily Jones from 22nd on the grid finishes 10th. That's a great result for her first time in a Monday strength of field. David Baxter in 11th. Brendan King as well from 25th up to 12th. That's a good result as well. Greg Sharp from 13th. Bo Cattell as well from the back moved up to 14th. Sean Chappell in 15th. Michael Talajanak in 16th. Daniel Ackland in 17th after some damage on the first lap. Henry King as well in 18th. Matt Morris 19th. Michael Ford in 20th. Mitchell Sealak in 21st after what appeared to be a blown motor. Jeremiah Morton in 22nd. Simon Tennant in 23rd. James Knight in 24th after the little bit of incident at the start. And David Nenadak didn't actually even get to the line in 25th.
Yeah, that was a really interesting race, and it just shows. Yeah, and with the Premier Series starting this week, I'm thinking there's about 150 nominations already. Of those, about half the field will get to race, and of those, a quarter of the field will get to be in the top split. And I'm pretty confident of those 40 cars that will make the top split. We saw quite a few of those guys that were racing tonight and what they can bring to the table. So, yeah, gee whiz, this weekend is just going to be some unbelievable racing. We just had a great weekend, Daytona 500 action all through the weekend. The NEO endurance racing as well was on, obviously, and obviously the Australian Endurance Championship. But yeah, there was some sensational racing there tonight. Wouldn't mind having a look at that incident a few laps ago. I don't know what lap it is. Just have a talk through when it was that battle for the lead there. I didn't get the chance to see the replay there at all. It's just after Ford had pitted, I'm thinking. So he pitted a lap 17. So if we go forward here, so it'll be on there. I didn't get the wide view there, so just have a look here and see what's happened. And yeah, Ethan has driven into the side of Ford there. I've no doubt about that at all. So some elbows out racing there, and with the live stewards next week. To be fair, they probably wouldn't have done anything about that because Ian didn't. Oh, gee whiz, yeah, I'm looking at that from different angles, and he's definitely put his nose in there. I'm surprised he didn't actually give that spot back. Disappointed, I have to say. But yeah, that's racing, and I think for Ian there, as bad as that may have seemed, the good thing about that race is that he was able to extend his lead for second place overall by beating charging Josh Rogers tonight.
Yeah, he was able to get that spot. Yeah, I had a look back as well. It's a bit of a cheeky move. It's not one that you'd like to see be put on, especially in that sort of position on the track. It's one of those areas that you don't want to have another car alongside you. It's definitely a place where the car gets unsettled. I know for myself it's really unsettling, especially going in. I had a bit of an issue on the Wednesday night where it was full sideways drifting action all the way up the hill. That was a bit scary moment, but it happens. And that's where you don't want to have another car alongside you. So it's just one of those things that maybe could have been put off, but we'll see what happens after that.
We will. We've got with us Corey Preston. Corey, welcome to RaceSpot TV's coverage of round 10 of the official V8 Supercar Racing Series. Mate, 6 boost car tonight, 6th place. You had a really good start. You got your nose up there in the top 3, tripped over. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, I certainly don't like making things easy for myself, do I? But yeah, I got a good start. I managed to get up the inside of Ethan, and then following Ian into that little left-hand kink, into that sort of next little left-hander, I was just a little bit too wide, and it was not grippy out there, and I put my foot on the brake. The car slid a little bit. I corrected it, and then it just hit the grass and then spun right in front of the field. So luckily nobody collected me, but yeah, that was certainly interesting.
And the track temperature of 27 degrees, so it was fairly pacey out there. How did you find the tyres? Were they able to hang in there?
Well, for our style of car, surprisingly, yes. Our tyres did manage to hang in there for once.
And mate, 6th place tonight, 4th on the grid. So the car obviously had decent pace. Probably weren't able to make the most of it, but a good charge through the field from where you were after that mistake.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting getting through the field. Sometimes I do better trying to charge back through the field because you got to be a little more restrained to keep the incidents down, which I didn't do, and mainly get past people without contact, which I did fairly well.
Well, mate, good job tonight. We're going to keep things moving, mate. Is there anyone you want to thank at all?
Yeah, seeing as our new majority team owner, Graham Filand, courtesy of Bonus Lawns. Yeah, he owns us now, sadly.
Oh, it's always good. Bonus does a great job. So, well, there you go. Some welcome news, and hopefully that will go on further. So, Corey and to Dale Niche and obviously Graham Filand. It's great that the three of you got together. I'm probably thinking there might be one more driver involved with that. Is there?
Sanyan,
that's it, Jalalik. I was trying to get that name off the top of my head. Well, so there you go. So hopefully you'll see plenty of them as of next Monday night in round 11, but also, like we said, starting this weekend in the V8 Premier Series as well. Looking forward to that. Corey, thank you for your time. We're going to keep moving here. We're going to have TTL's Josh Rogers, a winner of yesterday's AEC 12-hour Bathurst race, 3rd place tonight in round 10 of the official V8 Supercar Racing. Josh, great racing, mate. Well done. 3rd position. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, it was definitely a very, very close race from the get-go. Maybe not so much towards the end, but at the start it was pretty hectic. Cold tyres. Couldn't really get the car to do what you want. Everybody was in the same boat, and it was basically just trying to get as much of a gap as possible, because I knew from previous races this week that Ian was quickest towards the end of the stint, and so was Ethan. So I just had to try and make as much of a gap as I could and work from there.
Pitted the first out of the 3 at the front. Did you have a night? Was Richard giving you a hand there, or was Jake Maloney giving you a hand there?
Maloney was doing my fuel numbers tonight. Thanks to him for doing it all. But we pitted early, trying to do a little bit of an undercut, because we were trying to go for the strategy with the warm tyres when they're on cold ones. And I don't know, it didn't work too bad, but because you pit earlier and you end up behind, you lose that track position, and it ends up a little bit difficult to get by. But yeah, no, strategy worked okay, but yeah, we'll try better next time. But yeah, other than that, was some really close racing towards the end up the front too. I was kind of hoping that have a bit more of a battle, let me get up there and cost themselves a little bit more time. But yeah, no, really great racing by everybody, and another Aussie server again, so that's good to hear.
Makes a massive difference having that Aussie server. The racing's been fairly decent the last 3 weeks, no doubt. Mate, on to next week. I know the TTL guys have already been hitting the track pretty hard in regards to round 1 of the V8 Premier Series on Sunday night, starting this Wednesday night with pre-qual. How are you looking for that? I would say probably well advanced.
Very, very excited. Considering last year we kind of just started up trying at Scops in the Spa Enduro, so we haven't really got to do that much Scops racing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how I can position myself with some of the really quick guys, see if we can get up there.
Well, it's not some of the really quick guys, it is the best guys that V8s have to offer, and you'll see that next week on iRacing Live in conjunction with V8s online as well. Josh, is there anyone you want to thank at all?
Yeah, just a huge shout out to TCL once again. They do an amazing job, and thanks to Maloney again for being spotted tonight. He did an awesome job at not only doing the fuel, but keeping me focused as well. So yeah, thanks to him, and also just like to once again congratulate all the TTL boys for the AEC victory yesterday. It was really pleasing to be able to be on this top set once again, and good job to your guys and the DPs as well. You did an amazing job.
Yeah, no, privately extremely stoked getting a 1-2 at Bathurst is a great result, and second place in the HPDs. But mate, on to next week, mate. Good luck to you and the extremely strong TTL team, and seeing what you can bring to the table there, and yeah, looking forward to the official race on the Monday night as well.
Yeah, thanks guys. Good job on the broadcast once again. I'll definitely watch back on it and hopefully enjoy it.
Cheers, Josh Rogers there. Jake, I've got a chuff for a short sec. I'll let you bring in second place Ian Ford, and you can have a chat with him. Where did he go? There he is there. I'll just go chuff. It's all yours, Jake.
All good. We are here with Ian Ford. 40, not the result I think you were looking for. It's still a good result. You were still able to finish in front of Josh Rogers, but a little bit of contact there between Ethan Grigol. I know you guys may have had a word just before you've come into here, so tell us what's going on there.
Oh, not much really. Just happy to actually get the result. There was a few moments there where I didn't think I'd really have a car left at the end of the race, especially trying to go around the outside at the top of the hill against Josh, and you know, after the few lockups trying to avoid Ethan every time he changed lane at the top of the hill. But you know, it's one of those things, we've all discussed it. It's, you know, we're equally as happy with the racing, and you know, I'm happy that I finished second in a race that, you know, didn't really have the points to carry, that you know, I'm not really missing out on much in the championship terms.
Yeah, you do say that. Strength of field number, mate, you have been a bit low, obviously, because of the numbers of the field. 25 cars may have just brought that a little bit down, which may have not offered as much point as you would have liked. So yeah, it's good to see you guys racing hard. The Australian servers maybe help you with that, and it's hopefully a good thing we can see more of.
Yeah, definitely. These Australian servers have brought back the competition level. It's brought it up a little bit, and you know, it's extremely difficult out there at the moment to stay competitive, and you know, I was trying to take every opportunity I could tonight. Tyres didn't warm up quite as well as I thought they would on that outlap, and left myself as a bit of a sitting duck, but you know, it was just one of those races. I'm happy that I put in 100% as always, and hopefully we put on a damn good show. But my car was just not strong enough out of the oak tree corner to literally drag myself up and like side by side with anyone, so I pretty much just had to plan a move that I've done a couple of times before, especially on Marty Carroll. So hopefully he's not over in the SDC team speak letting Ethan know exactly what I was trying to fire up the outside there. But yeah, I've done that move a couple of times, and I knew it worked, so I just had to pray to God I got a decent enough drive up there to throw it around that side.
Yeah, well, maybe Marty may have been giving him a little bit in the ear there. So it's one of those situations, especially when I wasn't expecting a move to be done there, but if you've done it before, you can maybe have another crack. It's yeah, towards the end, the car didn't look as good. I don't think you maybe had the right tyre temps or something maybe in the car. Just looked a little bit off, especially with the little mistakes you had, maybe overheated the rears.
No, actually, I changed the tyre pressures in the stop to pretty much stop our car grinding out up the hill. It was I was losing a lot of time to the boys in the first sector, and then when I changed the tyre pressures, it basically evened out the car throughout the whole entire lap. So it's like, I wasn't really gaining or losing, but like I had fresher tyres, so I was trying to use that to my advantage, and I just had to drive it on the raggedy edge to try and get close enough heading into that oak tree corner to try and fire out a decent drive out of it. And the one time Ethan made a mistake, it absolutely killed me. So it absolutely killed me because I almost ran off the road. But it's just one of those things. Everyone's happy with the racing, like from the driver's point of view. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show.
It was definitely a cracking race to watch, and that's one of the things that we look forward to next week, but this weekend as well. V8 Scop start up. It's the Premier Series is one thing that everyone looks forward to, especially among the V8 guys. How are you looking forward to this weekend? It's going to be a cracking one.
Well, I'm looking forward to Suzuka on Monday. We'll just ignore Montreal because it's probably not going to be my strongest track, but I'm happy that it's the first round of the season, so that way I can get the dodgy round out of the way straight up. Tuesday night, Angry Birds have their little race session going. It's going to be at Montreal, so I think that'll be the first time we'll actually get out on track and see what our car can do over the big curbs of Montreal, and hopefully we come out of there with decent points. If not, it's not going to really matter too much, and we'll just keep on kicking on because the rest of the season is certainly going to be strong.
Yeah, the season is strong, and the season is full of different challenges that will await for everyone in that V8 Supercar Premier Series. It's going to be one to watch. Yeah, Suzuka next week as well. It's sort of going to be tracks two different complete. We're attacking curves at Montreal and nearly hitting the wall of champions, and at Suzuka we're going just millions of miles an hour around 180R. It's a completely different two type of tracks. But anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go, 40?
Maverick Welding for just letting us do what we do each week, especially the last couple of weeks. We've definitely moved them up the grid again, which is always a good thing. Knight Rider Designs for making my car look so sexy, and apparently there was a Maverick Falcon down the back of the field somewhere around 4th, 5th or something like that. So it's good to see different makes out there, and Jake for putting up with me at Montreal. It's going to be pretty nasty, so get ready for a lot of setups coming your way. And if anyone didn't know, we're actually donating to charity every a couple of bucks for every slowdown we get at Montreal. So I think we're going to have empty pockets by the end of it.
We'll be coming out of your pocket, not mine, because that's most probably what I'm going to be doing. So thank you for that, Ian Ford, and we will move on to if Brenton's there. I don't know whether he is here now, but we will move on to interviewing Ethan Grigott. Ethan, well done on another solid result. You've got the win there. It's a little bit of a cheeky mood. I know 40 said you guys have spoken about it, so we'll sort of maybe move that one to when it happens. But tell us about how that one went.
Yeah, that was a great high pressure fun race to have actually. Yeah, I meatballed it off the start again, just like usual here this week, and pretty much lost two, 3 positions straight away, and with a spinning Corey in front of me, which was inevitable. I was lucky to get through that one, but yeah, the race just progressed on nicely from there.
Yeah, like your car was well set up, especially out of a lot of the corners. The car was very gripped up in the rear end, and there was a lot of times where you started to pull away, especially coming down that backstretch, and 40 wasn't able to gain on you, especially late on in that run, especially with the couple of moves he was doing coming into turn 14. It definitely put you on your toes, and you made a couple of mistakes which ultimately handed you the win.
Yeah, pretty much braking for the back straight every time towards the end of the race, and I'd see Ian Ford coming up behind me light speed, which would kind of scare me a bit, and me myself, I'm on the limit of the brakes into there, so a couple times I'd try and move and avoid him, see which way he's going in my rear view mirror, and we just both end up running wide, but we both got out unscathed, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's a good one thing to say. Everyone got out hard racing, as the Australian servers definitely have brought that to us. But as well, you move forward to next week. It's a big week, Premier Series as well. I think you're going to be running it. I'm not 100% sure. You'll most surely tell me that now. But it's one of those things. We've got Montreal and then you got Suzuka. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week for you.
Yep, I'm definitely going to try and run Scops this year. That's been my plan for a while now. So yeah, haven't done any practice at Canada yet, but it's an interesting track in the VIR with the off tracks and whatnot. And then we got Suzuka as well, which I've got to worry about, which is another track we've got to do a lot of practice to do good. So it's going to be a good balancing act. So
yeah, it'll be good to see you actually in the Premier Series. You weren't there last season. This season, it's definitely going to be a different battleground, a lot of different people coming in. I know you've raced Madison Down, I think it was last season, came in for the Zandvoort round. So those little people that you'll be racing against, it'll be every weekend, and it's definitely going to liven up the field.
yeah, of course. I did last year. I did the first few rounds of the Scops, but due to just time commitments on my part and the quality of racing over there, especially at Oran Park, I just pretty much threw the towel in and focused on the official. So, and now that I've done what I wanted to achieve in official, it's time to move over there and see how I can dish it out with the big boys. So it should be good fun.
It's definitely going to be good fun, and it's going to be one to watch as well as the season goes on. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go, Ethan?
I'd just like to thank all the boys at SDC for pretty much being there every time, helping me with sets, and Jason Dixon for spotting for me tonight, which is really helpful.
Well done to Jason up in the spot as well, because I haven't had him for a while. Hopefully we get to see him on the weekend, and well done again, Ethan. Once again, another cracking race, and you were able to put it on the top step of the podium as you move on to maybe concealing that fourth-time championship.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan. It'd be great to get 4 in a row. But thanks for your awesome broadcast as always, boys. Have a good one.
Thank you, and Ethan, that was very well done. So we move. Brenton, are you here now to wrap us up?
Yes, mate, back again. Thank you. Good job, mate. There's young fella's a bit crook over the weekend and tonight, so got to have a priority. Yeah, awesome race. Didn't hear the interviews, so no doubt some chatting will be done there, or might have already been done. You know more about that than I do. But Suzuka next week on Monday, but before that, obviously, Montreal for this weekend's going to be a priority. So a lot of action in front of us for the V8 Supercars, and you can make sure that you can stick with it, all the action on iRacing Live, which has been a fantastic initiative that's really brought iRacing even closer to the people. You got that little yellow bar at the top, and and RaceSpot, Hugo Louise here, our director, and Will Vincent, certainly pioneers in bringing that to us, and the quality of broadcast, not just here with race, but all around, has just been fantastic, and RaceSpot are certainly leaders in that field at the moment. But Hugo, play that funky music, because we're going to be out of here. That was round 10 of the V8 Supercar Series. A fantastic drive by the top 3 tonight, and a bit of a shout out too. We had our first female driver. Awesome to see Emily in there. Ryan O'Sullivan 4th place, but just putting that little bit more of a strangle is our 3 times champion Ethan Grigalt. Got the job done, got the win tonight. Looking forward to what Suzuka can bring next week. Another car suited to the V8 Supercars. In the meantime, until next week, I'm Brenton O'Brien. Thanks again to Jake Blackwell with me as usual, and our director doing a fantastic job, Hugo Louise. And until next week, where we bring round 11, it's a goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Jake.